So let's dive into today's session with an issue that is troubling you. Like, what would you say is a frustrating issue for you? Something where you feel blocked. There's a fear. There's an anxiety.
I think many people experience that being a foreigner. But in my previous job here, I was told that I am different and I should become more like them.
I see. Okay, so let's go to the actual event. Let's just take a moment. Let's take a deep breath just to ground ourselves. Put both your feet on the ground so you're grounded. And let's just take a deep, deep breath together. Inhale, spreading that oxygen in your whole body, relaxing your facial muscles, relaxing your shoulders, and exhale. And just take a few breaths to come to the present moment and prepare to do this exercise for your healing and transformation. So now I want you to recall the time and the place, the incident where you were triggered into a sort of negativity or a low amount of energy. So you're there now. You can. Where are you standing or sitting? Are you alone or with others? Where's that event happening?
So this happened in summer.
Mm-hmm.
I was having a talk with one of my managers.
Okay, let's try to make it in the present tense. I'm having a talk with one of my managers. What's happening? Show me the scene.
It is a very stressful time for the company because they're not doing well. It's a small startup. It's not going well. I am now finishing my master's thesis, so even on that front, things are a bit hectic and stressful.
And what is that? Is someone telling you something? Are you in a meeting?
Then I go outside for a talk with the manager, and he's telling me that all the other employees they have a certain type of communication, and I am different, and I should be more like them.
Okay, so right when he says that, what's going on in your thoughts? What are the thoughts that you're having that lead you to be upset and frustrated? What is the thought going through your head?
That I am wrong, that I don't fit here, that I am somehow misplaced or inconvenient.
Okay, and what does that do to you physically? What's happening in your body at the same time?
I usually feel it in my shoulders. It's like I shrink and I become stiff.
So there's tension here in the shoulders.
Yes.
Okay.
And I can feel it that I need to come to a position that I am more, I don't know if it's a protective position or I don't know, but then I have it.
You tighten up, you close up. You become smaller. And what about your energy level? From your usual energy level, what's happening to your energy?
I lose my enthusiasm.
You're losing, okay, I want you to still be at that time and space. You're losing your enthusiasm. How do you view the other person? How do you view your boss?
Towards the other person, I freeze.
You're frozen. Do you answer anything? Do you shout? Do you cry? Do you go down or out?
When I usually, as a Greek, I have an explosive temper. I used to have. I worked on it somehow for a long time. But I went to the other extreme that I just freeze and I don't talk and I say okay.
Right. So compliant, you're being compliant. Are you answering back, or are you just pushing everything inside?
Or push everything inside.
Okay. So now I still want you to stay at that place, at that incident this summer with your boss there. Now, remind me again what kind of thoughts are going through your head. Like, what are the fears that are going through your head?
That I do not fit, that I cannot find my place here, that I am doing things wrong, or I don't fit. So no matter what I do, because if the problem is me or the way I am, then whatever I do, it's not going to be good enough.
So there's something wrong with me. There's something. I'm strange. I might be a little defected compared to others. I might be wounded. They're okay. I'm not so okay. I'm
just different, and here it's not okay.
Right. I have nothing to contribute here. Nothing important. So I'm just an oddball here. And I feel rejection. I feel that no love, no appreciation. Exactly. And maybe after all, maybe I am defect. Perhaps you're thinking, maybe there is something wrong with me, right? Sorry. So you're having these thoughts of self-doubt and fear. So let's write that down, if you like. Just write down the main narrative. Just write down, I'm not good enough, there's something wrong with me, that kind of thing. Oh, you can also type it here in the comments.
Okay.
You can just type it in here to the memo pad. There's a little chat box. A little chat box. Do you find the chat box? Okay, great. So let's just take a few notes of this narrative. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not. I don't belong. And whatever else you recall of those thoughts. Because it's good to pinpoint the thought, because you have the external trigger, but if it doesn't ignite anything in you, I mean, those same words, if someone else were listening, they would have a different reaction. So it all starts within us to pinpoint our own deep fear. And I think we've got it. I think we've just nailed it right now, this little narrative. And I'm sure that this little narrative pops up in other circumstances or situations. It may be the root of many other, bad moods or depression type things. Yeah. Sadness. Okay. So now let's go through the first filter. The first filter of the Alkistis Method is based on ethos. Ethos means having integrity, being truthful, not lying to ourselves, okay? As we were saying, that Socrates used to go up to people and just question them about their beliefs, about their thoughts. So if we were to look at this situation, would you say, out of 1 out of 100, how true is that statement that you just wrote? How true, 1 out of 100, would you say that this statement is? There's something wrong with me, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I don't belong, I'm out of context. How true is that? Like, are we dramatizing? Are we... it's good to look at your way of thinking. Perhaps you're dramatizing. Perhaps you're taking things too personally. Like, if you're really honest with yourself, how true is it that you are not worthy? Just one out of 100. 1 out of 100.
Well, I'd say 20.
Maybe 20%. But when you're thinking it hijacks your brain and your body. It closes you up, because this is what happens. In other words, let me ask you, what happens when you believe it's true? What happens to you when you believe that statement is 100% true?
Well, then I'm in that situation that I freeze again, because
Right.
I feel that
You
I have
freeze.
nothing to offer, and
Right.
I cannot do any, no matter what I do then is useless, so I do it.
Right. So you see the immediate consequence when you believe this statement is 100% true, you freeze, you close up, you diminish yourself, your energy falls. When you believe it, when you lack integrity, when you lack ethos, and you're not asking yourself, hang on, is this true? And you just passed it through the test of ethos, and pretty quickly you realize that this is a lie. This is only like 20% true, maybe there's some little truth there, but out of 100, it's not a truthful thing. So you've been lying to yourself. You are lying to yourself. It's very important that you realize that it's you who's doing the damage, not the external trigger, the external circumstance. They are touching on perhaps a trauma, a small trauma that you're not aware of, that this thought perhaps was created when you were younger in yourself. Certain things happen when we're younger, we're not even aware of it, like children. Someone says something to us, our parent may be upset, they're stressed, they tell us something, and then as a child we just absorb it and we think, or maybe it's like a habit. You develop this habitual way of thinking, and then it just comes out because someone just triggered it. Some external circumstance just triggers this lie, this misconception. As Epictetus taught, it's not what's happening to us, but our view of what's happening that is upsetting us. So this is a very important step, to take full responsibility for your state, for your mood. You are doing this to yourself. This is an important and crucial factor. No one is doing it to you. You have generated these thoughts. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you can take responsibility for that?
Yes, and I feel that this is the healthy thing to do.
Right. Not to blame.
I had the opposite approach before, a bit nihilistic probably, because I was feeling like that's also one reason that I didn't speak up, and I usually just do not answer,
right?
Because that my brain tells me that it's not important.
Oh, so you have a self-check. You are checking yourself, and you're saying, I don't want to burst out and answer back dramatically right now, because I know that I may be lying to myself. I may be dramatizing. This may be a trauma that I'm just reliving. Okay.
Yes, but also no, because I feel it would also be useless, because people will believe what they want to believe. So my opinion does not matter. So even if I think that I'm good or that I'm worthy, to them it doesn't matter, because they have their own view, and they have created these circumstances.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think there again, there's again a misconception. You're close, but you're not really truthful. That statement that my opinion doesn't matter, again, it's not. It does matter. It's just that I think you have the wisdom to say, this may not be the right time, the right place. I may not be in the right state to make my truth heard intelligently or in a way that will impact. Okay? And I think that that's quite perceptive of you to say, right now, I have just been triggered. I'm feeling depressed. I don't feel like I'm ready to speak my truth, because I have to clarify within myself first what's true. But believe me, Gianneta, when you're ready, when you're clear about your truth, you will also find the way to speak it or to show it and to make yourself heard. But firstly, we have to clear our inner trauma. We have to clear our inner misconceptions. So I think in one way you are right not to say anything right there, okay? Because you might jeopardize, you might say something you regret. So that at least shows that you have your, what I call your guardian spirit, your inner wisdom, your higher self is protecting you too from creating damage. Okay, so let's go back again to the thought. We have recognized that the thought, what you say, is there's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't belong here. So you recognize you're taking charge. You're taking responsibility. That's the first and greatest step, to say that is a lie. Say it for yourself. I want to hear it from you.
That's a lie.
You've been telling yourself, I've been telling myself.
I've been telling myself
that
is a lie.
That I'm not good enough.
That I'm not good enough. That I'm not worthy. And that I don't belong here.
Okay. So first, that's the biggest step, to recognize, to take responsibility for what's happening inside. Now, let's move to the next filter of our thought, and that is pathos. The filter of pathos is related to our emotions, to our love, to our kindness. And the question you ask in relation to pathos is this kind? Is this kind when you do that? When you have this compulsive thought? Because I say when you do this, because you're doing that thought. You're doing that act, you're just playing this program. So is it a kind thing when you play that line inside yourself? Are you harming yourself or loving yourself at that moment?
I am harming and restricting myself.
Exactly. So it's not a kind thing. So it doesn't pass the second filter. It's not a kind thought. You're harming and restricting yourself, as you say. And what about, tell me a little more about that. How are you harming and restricting yourself by having that thought?
Because by making myself believe these things, I put myself into the position that the way I am and what I do are not good.
Right.
So that I should stop.
Right. And you're preventing yourself also, when you paralyze yourself, you're actually preventing yourself of expressing what you want to say. So you're cheating yourself too, because if you had your mind together, if you were more in control of your thoughts and your state, you could actually, as you are when you do feel confident, because I'm sure there are, on most days you feel more confident, you feel much better. So you're depriving yourself of that energy so that you can maybe ask your boss some questions to be how things can improve. So when you freeze like that, you're just you're blocking things. When you believe the lie, let's put it this way, when you believe the lie you're telling yourself, you are also it's not kind, because you're depriving yourself. But let's go back to the kind and say, how is it not kind to the other person involved? What are you depriving your boss of? Are you depriving them of anything?
Well, I'm depriving them of my truth.
Your truth?
Of what my full capacity.
That's right. You're depriving them to see you and to really put your talents to work. So they're getting half of you. They're getting a small part of you. So I don't know if they're paying you or you're getting shares or whatever. You're getting a value, but you're not also giving your full self when you close yourself up that way. So Also, let's just take a moment when we say, is it kind? It's in this instance, we also enter their shoes. Let's enter the viewpoint and the shoes of your boss, of the other person involved. How do you think he's feeling? What fears and pains do you think that you're triggering in him through what's happening? Whether or not it's true, maybe he has a wrong impression of you, but let's still go into what he's feeling. Because he has his perspective. As I said, the objective truth is a combination of all these viewpoints. But from his point of view, what's the pain and what's the fear that you think he's feeling? Let's exercise our empathy, our pathos.
Well, his fears are that he's not able to manage the team well and to guide people through these difficult times.
Right.
And of course, the ultimate fear that if we cannot give our best selves, everyone, then the company's going to fail.
Right. So he's dealing with his fear, and it's very important to have that empathy in this moment, to look at the fear, look at his projections and say, my God, he is a victim too here. I'm not the only victim. And to say, how can I actually help him? How can I support my fellow human being, my team member here? And it's not like always about ourselves. Like, that's why I say we take things too personally. Maybe it's like the way he approached you, maybe a cry for help, because guess what? Imagine he has the same fears. Imagine that he's just a reflection of yourself. Let's go into his mind. Imagine he is saying now to himself, there's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not a good manager. I'm not a good boss. He has, just imagine, I'm not saying it's true that he has those, but just imagine invisibly that he has this fear exactly like yours. So you're both wounded, and I think it just changes the way you look at him. How do you feel now when you realize that he may have his own pain? How do you view him? Just go recall that situation. How are you looking at him now?
Having that in mind, that I feel less frozen, more willing to discuss.
And maybe help him, and to help him.
Less at risk.
Pardon?
I feel less at risk.
You feel less vulnerable, less exposed, and you realize, oh my God, this is a cry for help from his side.
Yeah.
Doesn't that flip things around? Is that already, how do you feel now, the energy? Is it loosening up a little?
It's a bit liberating.
It's a bit liberating when you get unstuck from your own position and realize for him to be in this state, he's suffering too. Something has been triggered off in him. Oh my God, how can I actually help him? How can I appease him now? It's not all about me. It's probably, his own projection and his own fear and his childhood and his, whatever he's afraid that he's not capable. It's a cry for help. I always say the more upset someone is, the more you should realize that it's a cry for help. Even if they're attacking. Even your attacker. This goes like very, it's really love. It's really agape. It's really the sense that even my attacker, it's a cry, it's a desperate help. Not that he attacked you, but I'm just, for some people who may be listening, we feel less of a victim when we realize, oh my God, they're the victim. I'm not the victim here.
Yeah, that is true. I agree with that. I had the same mindset the first years I moved here, but then what put me away and made me freeze and not react was this. It's as if they would have a wall in front of them.
Okay, that's fear. That's fear. You see, when you look at other people and you can see through the facade, the anger, the act, and realize, as Plato, the Greek philosopher, said, that if you only knew the pain and trauma that the other person is carrying with, that maybe they're not even aware of, but it expresses themselves, you would treat everyone with a lot more delicacy and compassion and almost that desire to heal, help them heal. Okay, so as you can see already, I feel your energy is kind of loosening up and relaxing and opening up to possibilities.
Yeah, that is true.
And now, again, you may realize that perhaps he is actually the incompetent boss, the person who cannot see. So let's flip that. Let's flip that statement. We're just trying on different perspectives now. We're getting unstuck from the first original perspective that it was all about you and the lie you're telling yourself. And now we're try this on. What if he is everything you've written about yourself? What if he's actually, there's something wrong with him? Right? We have compassion, but also we are aware that he may be less than a good boss. Does he know everything? Has he toured the world? Does he have the experience of the Enlightenment? No, he's just a person too.
Yeah.
So now we've really depersonalized it. We've cleared the lie. Now we can go to the third filter. The third filter is the filter of logos. Ethos, pathos, logos. Logos regards the logic and the reason, and it's kind of practical thinking, useful thinking. And I ask you, when you have that limiting belief, when you play this record in your mind, is it useful to do that? No. Why isn't it useful?
It's not, it's just some kind of, I don't know how to say, unproductive.
Unproductive. It's unproductive. It's totally unproductive. It's useless. It's like taking a hammer to try to unscrew a screw.
Yeah.
You need a screwdriver. Instead, it's not bad. It's just not going to bring any results. It's not useful. That's the test of logos, is that thought that I'm having useful? So we need something else. We don't need a hammer, we need a screwdriver. We need something useful for this particular type of scenario. So now we step back and we say, let's find a new statement, a new thought that you can be passing through your mind when you find yourself going to that old compulsive fear and lie. When you go back to that big lie, what's an alternative thought? How can you reprogram, in other words, that program that's going in your mind? What would be let's go with the three filters. What would be a more truthful, kind, and useful statement for yourself to apply?
Believing.
So let's start typing in. I believe. We're just fiddling around here. We're rewriting the program. So go ahead, throw some ideas. Type in, throw some ideas. There's something wrong with me. We just said that's wrong. I am unique. I have unique talents. I would suggest. Instead of saying there's something wrong with me, I have unique talents. I have special talents for certain that are ideal for certain circumstances. I have unique. There's nothing wrong with you. You just have special, unique talents. Or
Yes.
or what would you answer to that?
Being different, diversity is something we need.
Right. My
Biodiversity is
my
something
difference, my being different, is actually something that can enrich this group or this project. My diversity, what makes me different, is the wealth I bring. Is the, you know, it's the bonus, it's the plus, it's my present. So there's nothing wrong. I have special talents for specific circumstances. What else?
even if I will make mistakes and I will do something wrong, like everyone
Right.
always will, or
Right.
human,
Right.
then by having ethos, then you can always make up for it or fix something.
Right. So you can write that as a statement. Type in, I sometimes make mistakes. That's okay. I'm learning and correcting wherever I can. I'm learning, I'm adjusting and improving as I go along. What else do you got?
That by being kind and open to each other, we can all do less harm. And
Okay, take a responsibility for yourself. Say, when I look at things with empathy,
yes,
I am my strongest self, my most powerful self. For example, I am in my truth. I can help. When I look at things from empathy, I can empower others and myself. I like that. When I look at things, or you can say through the heart, if empathy is too much of like an intellectual word, say when I work through my heart, or when I work from empathy, when I, go out from my heart, I heal myself and I heal others, or I feel in my power. Okay? So read me what you have now as an alternative text, as an alternative running program.
so I believe that I have ethos, and even though I will make mistakes, I can make up for it. And when I look at things with empathy, I can empower others and myself.
Okay. You don't say, I believe I have ethos. Just say, I have ethos. I have ethos. I'm living in my truth, whatever. So let's go again, because we're trying to formulate a kind of affirmation. We wanted to make it tight and make it like one or two sentences that are bam, bam, so that you can remember them easier when the next time comes up. That's what. Go ahead, try again.
I have ethos, and I can improve my mistakes and misconceptions.
Okay, look. Try to make it all in the present tense. I have ethos. I am learning and improving. You see, it has a different power. I can. I may. It says I have. I am learning and improving. Give it punch. It gives it punch when you're like in the present tense. Let's take it from the top.
So I have ethos, and I'm learning and improving, and I look at things with empathy to empower myself and others.
Beautiful. That I like very much. That has big potential. So let's read it again, clean it up of any little bugs, as we say, so that it's as smooth as a Lamborghini. It's your mental Lamborghini. It's just fly through. Go ahead. Just try it on. Uh-huh.
I'm learning and improving, and I look at things with empathy to empower myself and others.
Excellent. Wow. Bam, bam, bam. Now, you hear that statement. This is a new way of thinking. This is a new habit of thinking. You found it, you've converted the program. Now, are you ready? When would you be ready to take that on? When do you think that you could say that I want to make that change? Is there anything preventing you right now from making this transformation in thinking?
No, I think this can be applied in my next meeting.
Right. It's true. It's based in truth, ethos. Yeah. It's based in love, pathos. It's based in logic and reason and practicality, logos. So it has all three components, and you say that you're ready to take that on as your new way of thinking. Fantastic. Now, as you know, change doesn't happen. I mean, you've made the switch. You've made the new program is there. Now it needs reinforcing. You have to keep running this program. It's something like our brain is like a muscle. It's like when you work out at the gym, you build muscle. It becomes a new arm, a new leg, you just grow. The same is with the brain. The brain, the more you train certain thoughts, the more this habit becomes you. Because that other thing, the old statement, was an old habit. You're just taking on a new habit. And I want to add one more thing to it at the bottom. Or at the beginning. You can say, I am deeply grateful that. Somewhere add in the word gratitude. I'm grateful that I have ethos. And I'm grateful at the end. And why do I put this thing with gratitude? I put this thing with gratitude because when we're grateful for something, even if it hasn't already manifested, it's like you're saying to your subconscious, I could see this happening. I'm already grateful for it. Like, I've made this mine already. That's what you're saying. It's already I feel blessed. I already have this. And it just removes the friction. It's like you've already been to the top of the mountain. You know what it looks like. So, yeah, now it's just a question of practicing this thought, writing it out on a paper, and copy paste that actually so you keep it, because I don't know if it's going to be around after our session. But what you're going to do is practice that on a regular basis. I would say like 3 times a day, 3-4 times a day. Take a time out and say, I am deeply grateful that this and this and this, your new statement. I'm just deeply grateful. And you have to do you think you can do that? You could do it 3 times a day, or you can use my guided meditations. The guided meditation is a half-hour induction into a deeply relaxed alpha state. And in this alpha state, your brain will just be more receptive to taking on this. You will be prompted in the guided meditation. You're going to take a walk by the beach, you're going to visit a beautiful place, and then the guided meditation says, please repeat your deep affirmation in your mind mentally. So we're really implanting it in our subconscious. You know the thing. You've read the Alkistis Method. Have you?
I've tried the meditation.
Uh-huh. And
I
how?
did it a couple of times on the second lockdown.
Yeah,
It was quite helpful.
very helpful. Yeah,
Yeah, it was very calming
it's
because for
calming.
me meditation I don't it's not so easy for me to
It's
do,
hard.
but
Yeah, yeah.
it was very calming.
Yeah, you prefer the guidance, and then you will begin to do this by yourself also. It's just a beginning, it's learning, and sometimes it's just nice to be guided instead of getting distracted by your own thoughts. So that's all the practice is. You just do your guided meditation once a week minimum. Practice this new way of thought whenever you feel triggered to have the old pattern. Say, aha, this is a great opportunity. I'm going to replace. Repeal and replace. So it takes some practice, but you have now the right program. You have the tool in your hand to make this transformation long lasting. So that's all from me, generally speaking. Do you have any other questions? Like you want to, I mean, I don't want to do another issue because I've just given you the tool, but do you have any doubts or questions about this actual process?
No, I think it's pretty clear for me because I love reading ancient philosophy and I grew up reading mythology. So for me, it's much more familiar than
It's familiar.
other
Yes.
types.
Sure. This is the Socratic method. In essence, it's a Socratic method. This is what the philosopher Socrates would do. And it's questioning our own thinking. Why did I just think that thought? Why did I just lie to myself? Is that true? Hang on a moment. Time out. Is that true? So it's about catching the thought before it has the negative toxic chemical reaction. It's really important to catch it
It's very
before.
important because with the flow of information and with how fast life has gotten,
Yes,
we do not really get the time to think
that's right.
of why.
That's right. Things are going so fast. That's why it's important to have this practice once or twice, 3 times a day. Take a time out. If you don't have 10 minutes in your day to dedicate to yourself, you don't have a life. You know what I mean? If someone says, I can't even make 10 minutes a day to concentrate and to align myself, I'm like, dude, you better fix something because 10 minutes is nothing. So you have the tool, you have the desire. So I'm very confident that. And I'd love to hear, what would be really useful for me, Gianneta, is to send me a testimonial also of the positive results so that I can also help other people, with your testimonial saying good things about the positive effects. But do it like when you're ready, like let's see over this week, over 2 weeks, what happens. And then you can send me a good testimonial saying the Alkistis Method helped me. That would really be useful to me. Do you think you could do that? It means a lot to me. That's all for now, my dear.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being so open and helping yourself. Thank yourself.
Very important. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.